Hello friends, welcome to my channel, Agent Hunt here. On the 27th October 2021, HDB has come out with the Prime Location Public Housing, in short, the PLH model. So what exactly is this PLH model? Why do they want to have this? And what will be the impact going to be? This PLH model is basically constructed to keep the future HDB flat in prime central location in Singapore to remain affordable, because HDB will be building BTOs at prime locations such as the Telok Blangah, Rochor and others in the Greater Southern Waterfront region. Some of the existing prime HDB like the famous Pinnacle at Duxton's and others like the Dawson area are fetching a high price of over $1 million, and they were only launched at 300 to 500,000 at the point in time, and right now they're selling above $1 million. And by the way, for the vaccinated travelers can now enjoy quarantine-free travels between Singapore and countries like the Canada, Denmark, France, Germany, etc. on the 8th of November onwards. It's also open to Australia and Switzerland. Imagine such a high profit. We can fly to Australia to play with the kangaroo many times. Back to the topic. Right now, some of the prices in the prime location has already exceeded the $1 million mark. Imagine when much newer prime HDB come out in the resale market, especially in the waterfront living. Imagine the waterfront living able to see shooting will exceed 1.5 million if there's no measure to control it. That is why the government have to do something, because end day they are still HDB, and the mission of HDB will be to remain affordable housing. If you look at the SingStat website, as per 2020, the amount of public housing in Singapore took up 78.7% of the overall residential property in Singapore. And if increasing number of BTO built in the prime location are all selling at a sky-high price, will it also affect the other non-prime BTO? And the difference also cannot be unrealistically big different. If really that's the case, we really need to eat cai peng every day, because the price will be so high that it's very difficult to afford anymore. This also means to say, Singaporeans like myself every day will queue in front of the BTO website and Bobby tolong that today I will get a unit in this prime location. Imagine staying in the atas location, 5 years later with what big time? Wow, better probability than queuing up for 40. This is why the Ministry of National Development, in short the MND, seek the public suggestion on public housing in prime location like the CBD on what are the ways they can keep it affordable. After months of planning, the PLH model is born. So let's see what the PLH model is all about. Before going to that, please help me to click on the like button, as it will help the channels a lot. Number 1. More subsidies will be given to keep this PLH HDB affordable, and don't be too happy thinking that we can buy a prime HDB yet with additional subsidies, because HDB will crawl back all this as a form of percentage of the resale price to recover some of the additional subsidies. And these subsidies I will assume that will be given as a form of CPF like the other grant. And for those people who understand the compounding of CPF accrued interest, no God! And number 2, there will be a reduced priority allocation quota for married child priority. We call it the MCPS scheme. Their aim is actually to give Singaporeans more chance to stay in this kind of prime area even though their parents do not stay nearby. And number 3, the MOP for prime location will be 10 years. In Singapore, all type of HDB, be it a subsidized or non-subsidized flat, will have to fulfill a minimum occupation period of 5 years as long as the property is bought in 2010 onwards. So in this case, instead of the usual 5 years, the MOP for PLH HDB will be 10 years. And for people who think that this rule only applies to first owner, it is not. It applies the same for resale HDB. Number 4, not allowing to rent out the whole unit at all even after the 10 years MOP. For those that thought that we can have a typical super shook kind of HDB rental yield of more than 6%, it will not happen in this case, because for the homeowner, they can only rent out the room. And number 5, income ceiling involved, and as for now will be at $14,000, which is normal as compared to typical BTO. But wait, this also apply to resale PLH HDB. What? Meaning to say, In the future, when someone wants to buy a PLH HDB, the combined income cannot be more than $14,000, subject to then the prevailing rate. If you were to have an income ceiling to it, there will also be a cap in the loan amount. This will result in more cash or CPF needed to afford for the house, which I feel may control the resale pricing of the PLH HDB. So to recap, the main few key things for PLH model HDB compared to typical BTO resale flat are more subsidies given but will claw back after selling. There will be a lesser priority allocation quota for married child priority. The MOP will be 10 years instead of the usual 5 years. No whole unit rental throughout. And there will be income ceiling requirement applied to resale HDB PLH model 2. And the golden question here is it worth trying or to wait for it? Personally, as long as the property is meant for own stay, there's no right or wrong answer to it. Everyone will have a different perceived value to it. But for those that aim to buy such property to have the guaranteed TOTO effect, may want to reconsider. Imagine it takes 5 to 6 years to complete, and with an MOP period of 10 years, right now you're in your late 20s, just got married. I think by the time you can sell, possibly already pop out 2 to 3 children. And with the income ceiling in place, I don't think there will be much of a TOTO effect. Thanks for watching till now, and feel free to comment below and let me know what do you guys think if it's worth buying it. I personally very look forward to the upcoming roadshow launch and curious what will be the take-up rate. And once again, this is Agent Hunt from The Right Hand, and as always, let's hunt for the best.